Poster. I found that most forms and conventions on film posters in my genre of social realism had a layout of being horizontal. I found from my genre research that films such as Ill Manors and Fruitvale Station had posters that were horizontal. Therefore, I went on to challenge this convention by making my poster landscape. A reason for this was because I felt I could fit more narrative within my main image and more detail about what the poster was portraying. My poster contains narrative conventions as my poster shows a main image of teenagers. However, I feel I have developed this because the teenagers are holding weapons, looking away and doing their own thing, which gives the audience a sign of disruption, but also a better understanding of each character's role due to their mise-en-scène and actions. My poster contains genre conventions from the Rick Altman theory, such as semantic iconography, where I've included various conventional weapons such as a gun, hockey stick and baseball bat within my main image. However, I developed this further by making the characters hold a specific weapon they use within the film itself, therefore giving the audience a better understanding of the person in the image. I also used the conventional clothing of hoodies, tracksuits and snapbacks, hats, which I found from my genre research due to films such as Ill Manors and Fruitvale Station containing the same fashion style. I went on to develop this further as I made a few of my characters wear jeans, therefore portraying how any type of clothing that a teenager wears could represent or be involved in crime. Institutional conventions, such as a billing block, was seen as a conventional element on a social realism poster, such as Ill Manors and Adulthood. Therefore, I used this convention by adding and locating my billing block at the bottom of my poster so that the audience could look at the cast if they wanted to. I also included the institutional logos of each of my producers and distributors on both sides of my billing block, which I also found conventional from my genre research. I found it was conventional to use the billing block in its steel tongues font, as both of my posters I had analysed, such as Ill Manors and Fruitvale Station, had this. I found that it was important to add a release date on my poster. However, when I was looking at other social realism posters such as Ill Manors and Fruitvale Station, I found that a release date wasn't conventional. I therefore decided to challenge this and add one above my billing block. I put this in a large sans serif font so that my audience would be aware of the film's release date. I found that it was conventional to represent teenagers on a social realism poster due to my genre research. I therefore developed this by adding several teenagers on my poster instead of just one or two, which Adulthood and 4321 had. I further portrayed the stereotype of teenagers being criminals by making the characters hold weapons, which I found was conventional on social realism posters due to Ill Manors posters portraying this. I also represented both males and females on my poster, which was conventional in my genre. I used the stereotype and ideology of females not being as dominant as males. I showed this by not giving any of the females a weapon, therefore representing females as being less powerful than the males with the weapons. When looking at various other social realism film posters such as Adulthood and Fruitvale Station, I saw that it was conventional to add more than one person in a shot. Therefore I developed one long shot with 8 characters in, which I thought was different from the majority of other social realism posters such as Ill Manors and Fruitvale Station. However, I further developed this by only making certain characters look at the audience. I did this so that the audience could see a link between these few characters. I placed my title Setbacks at the top of my poster. This was because I didn't want my audience to pay much attention to it. However, I did put this in a large sans serif font, Urban Jungle, so that my audience couldn't miss it. I then went on to add other unique conventions, such as adding a tagline, "Everything happens for a reason," which I added as a statement so that my audience could gain more understanding of the film and the concept behind its story. Website. After looking at various other social realism film websites such as Illmanners and Fruitvale Station, I saw the convention of different images instead of the same image from their posters. I therefore went on to challenge this convention by using the same long image on both my poster and website, as this contains all my main characters and my main location, such as the council estate where my story takes place. I found that by showing different characters within the story was conventional due to them portraying the narrative of the film, but also so that the audience could become more familiar with the different characters and their roles. I then went on to show different weapons that are a part of the film, which I found was conventional due to me seeing this on the Illmanners website. When creating my building block, I found that it was unconventional to have a building block on a website, due to films such as Fruitvale Station not having one. However, I did go on to challenge this like Illmanners by placing my building block at the bottom of my website. I chose to do this because I wanted my audience to have the chance to look at the cast and production team behind the film. I went on to add the institutional logos on either side of the building block. I decided to make the layout of my website the same as my poster, as I wanted my audience to remember the same image and layout, and so that they would know straight away what film my poster and website was for. I carried my house style of using the same sans serif font of Urban Jungle on my website. I used this sans serif font for my main title, tagline and release date, which I saw was conventional on other social realism websites such as Illmanners and Fruitvale Station, which I researched. I also found that it was conventional to add a release date on my website. I decided to add this at the top of my website under my tagline, so my audience wouldn't miss it. I also saw that it was conventional to add various other social networking logos like Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, as I saw this on the Fruitvale Station's website. I also thought including these logos would make it easier for my audience to talk about my film, and so my film could be made more aware to other potential viewers.